smaller processing machines do the magic for families.
From the farms, households bring rice paddy here in one of the small-scale processing unit in Karfi, Kura local government area of Kano State here. And in a couple of minutes, you will be able to process rice and be ready, like this one, to be cooked and be put on your dinner or lunch table.
The big players in rice processing have their boilers positioned strategically in the center of commerce. The investment huge, and so their modus operandi. They say their success revolves around the policies of the federal government in food self-sufficiency.
We thank this President Muhammadu Buhari for introducing this policy of go to farm and feed yourself. And we that we cannot go and do farming, we invest in agricultural processing companies. You know, it is not easy, and nobody will believe it before this time, that the way we are eating rice in Nigeria, Nigeria can feed itself within this shortest period of time of less than 4 years or less than 10 years. Our fear, we have already invested and the people are already coming more to invest. If there is no continuity on this policy, we are not praying for that, but the thing will be very bad. Look at the billions of dollars. From in Kano alone, we have almost 20 rice mills now. In Kano alone, from 5 years to now, more than, and all this one are mega rice milling. No one that is processing less than 100 tons per day. It's from 500 tons to 100 tons per day. More than 20 companies now. Just take an example. If each one is only 200 people that are working directly, not indirectly, indirect workers. And out of these 200 people, every person is taking responsibility of 5 people per month. And how many tons of rice is going out from these 5 companies? From the people that will come and buy, go to display in their shops, the drivers that will come and load, the laborers that will load the rice, go and offload it outside. When you come and buy 1 bag, somebody will put it on top of your machine or in your korukura. And this is a chain that no single person will like to break this chain.
More than 20 world-class rice milling companies are doing their bits in Kano alone. More springing up. Now that Nigeria has found a place of pride in the global rice production chain.
Without that intervention and with the economic crisis that is happening in the world today, I can tell you that only God, where do you get the food? Even if you say you are going to open your borders now to bring in this rice, at what cost is it coming to Nigeria? And who has the purchasing power to pay for that? So I can say the most successful thing is even creating the platform, saying that, okay, what's come was, let us feed ourselves. And we can see that happening. When we first start, I can tell you the metrics. As at last year around this time, we were having the belief that, okay, we can only get paddy during the rainy season. Okay, we all know that 2 seasons of farming of rice happen in Nigeria, but not at that scale of it being economical. People just do the dry season for the sake of doing it. Because without institutions like this, the farmers, even if you do rainy season, you do dry season, where do you take the paddy to? So when that platform was created, we now come in, to say, okay, let us bridge that gap. You understand? We had seen the rainy season, dry paddy came, it all get mopped up. And we now see an improvement from what happened last year to what happened this year during the dry season paddy that comes. We didn't expect that number anyway. We thought the number could be less. But as I speak to you now, we still, yeah, it comes in trickle, but it does come. It does come. So, and if we go on that lane, I can tell you that it will only take lesser time than we imagine. It is one thing to do rice milling. It is another thing to be able to control your final product. Because if you pride yourself that, okay, I want to produce the premium rice, same quality, good quality, competitive quality that can compete all over the globe, then it tells that you need to have control of your paddy. That means you need to be consistent with the amount of paddy that comes. But that is a challenge because we take paddy that comes from Taraba, we take paddy that comes from Gombe, we take paddy that comes from here, Jigawa, Kano State. We also take paddy that comes as far as Kebbi States. So these are different varieties, these are different grades, these are different. Because when you say you are going to stick to a particular variety, that means you should run short of your demand for the paddy. That means you won't be able to produce optimally. So it's a challenge, but that is also how ingenuity comes in business. So here in Gerara, our machines are state-of-the-art machine, you understand? So we have graders that can be able to grade the level of rice that get produced. And that is why we're able to achieve that consistency. However, that can be detrimental to our business ecosystem. Because when we set the grader that, okay, it has to be this length, and the paddy that comes is shorter than that length, that means it will end up in the, not the premium quality, but in the substandard quality, which will also affect our business ecosystem.
The current policy on the ban of importation of rice should remain in place. And then secondly, investment should be increased in the area of processing of the rice paddy. And then lastly, a robust seed variety development with higher productivity and an organized seed sector for rice should be put in place. These tripod are the things that will make Nigeria harvest as much economic benefit from rice as possible.
The big-time rice processors say Nigeria's rice can give global players in rice production a run for their money. But we must put our house in order.
Of course, the government has done wonderfully well before because the inflation rate wasn't too much then, and there were like supports by the government in terms of the chemicals and fertilizer, and at the same time machineries like tractors, all sorts of mechanization tools that may like assist the farmer to have more modernized farming system. But when it comes to like last two years and this year, the fertilizer we were buying 9,000 is now more than 20,000 naira, and the support government has been making or doing wasn't like before. Now there were not like fertilizer from government directly. So and at the same time they haven't given the subsidy they have been given before is no longer there again. But if government will reach to the core or real farmers, their production will definitely increase, and rice we are going to be even given those countries we are importing rice, inshallah.
We are now facing challenges of fertilizer supply. That is really frustrating. Apart from that, we find it difficult to buy other farm inputs. like chemical tractors and planters. So these are some of the challenges we are facing. You may sometimes go to the market with your money and can't get fertilizer to buy. And if we don't have fertilizer, there is no farming. Before now, we buy fertilizer from 15 to 18,000 naira. Now, it has reached 25 to 26,000 naira, sometimes 30,000. So if you buy fertilizer at the current selling price and cultivate rice, you may end up with a meager return, which could make rice farming unattractive. When the price of fertilizer was low, we make huge gains. And if we look at mechanized farming, we see that tractor hire is also becoming difficult with combined harvester and other inputs. So, we are calling on government to go back to the drawing board and put more efforts in making rice farming more attractive. Let them investigate and find out where the problems are and resolve the issues so we can get the desired support.
It is only in major markets like this one that you will appreciate the quantum of progress that Nigeria has made in terms of becoming self-sufficient in rice production.
Now the storages of local rice dealers are to the brim with the bags of rice bear logos showcasing the pride of a nation being blown by wind of change. We know in the content of each bag rice of premium crystal clear quality drops, keeping local dealers in smiles.
We are thankful to God because farmers are planting the rice and the markets are getting the supplies, but the rice is becoming more expensive, which is a major challenge.
On the dining table of Nigerians, a healthy meal.
What we produce here is fresh. The so-called Thailand rice that comes. I can tell you now, if they are to cook the Thailand rice and bring to you now and cook Gerawa rice, when you eat, you tell me the difference because this is so fresh and the aroma is just more appealing than that one. So when you take it outside, it's just a matter of tasting. When you get now one businessman that is saying, okay, let me go out of my way, let me even start taking this Gerawa rice to export it. You understand? And people will accept it. People will accept it. You understand? So the question is whether it can reach that standard, and the answer is yes, and it can even surpass.
There's no doubt that Nigeria has been able to save itself from the burden of rice importation bills. But most importantly, its citizens like me will have rice on top of their tables for dinner or lunch, fresh, as against the ones that have been imported, which nobody will tell exactly how long it has stayed in storage before arriving here.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the You Report link. And be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app. No access to real-time information.
A self-disciplined life makes the job of good ethics more attainable. Self-discipline has always been one of those elusive things that your parents, coaches, and teachers have tried to instill in you for as long as you can remember. Sometimes you heard it, and sometimes you didn't. To help you build self-discipline in the workplace, consider these 10 tips. Tip 1. Just do it. Cautiously decide that you really want to be someone who practices self-discipline in your attitude and ethics. Let your desire to achieve self-discipline motivate you to make good choices. Say to yourself, I'm going to play by the rules. Make a personal commitment to develop and bulletproof your personal ethical code of conduct. You must really want it. As long as you require outside intervention to stay ethical, you won't develop self-discipline. Tip 2. Learn the rules. Clarify what you will and will not do. Educate yourself so that you will not make ignorant mistakes. Rules, policies, regulations, and standard operating procedures can be overwhelming, but you must resolve that you will never make an ethical decision without knowing what the rules are. Become comfortable with asking your supervisor, legal counsel, or ethics officer for help. They will appreciate that you took the time to ask before jumping into an ethically uncertain situation. Tip 3. Be accountable. Accept responsibility for your behavior. Don't blame others for your unfortunate actions and decisions. How many times have you seen a cover-up only worsen an ethical crisis? The extent of your personal damage control should be, I'm sorry, I take full responsibility for my actions, and I will make it right. That is what most people want to hear. Taking responsibility shows honesty of character, which is a rare and valuable commodity in the workplace. Tip 4. Practice. Self-discipline is something you can teach yourself. No matter how carefully you plan to live an honest and disciplined life, you won't get out of the starting gate without actually doing something. Self-discipline is not a spectator sport. It requires numerous cycles of practice, failure, and success. Look at the personal obstacles that you have overcome in the past and realize that doing the right thing requires you to step out and stand up. Tip 5. Eliminate harmful habits. If you tend to stretch the truth, cut it out. If you use company equipment, supplies, or facilities for personal use, stop it. If you interpret company policies to meet your needs, don't do it anymore. This list of ethically bad workplace habits goes on and on. We all have some angles, scams, or some unethical behavior that pushes the envelope. Whatever they may be, put an end to these harmful habits immediately. Tip 6. Set and complete goals. There is nothing more satisfying and rewarding than achieving a hard goal. Examples of ethical goals can be telling yourself, when I feel tempted to stretch the truth, I will be factual. When this person puts me in an ethically uncomfortable position, I will stand up for the truth. Tip 7. Do what you say you will do. Finish what you start, stay on task. There may be no great. Tip 8. Ignore peer pressure. It is easy to be ethical without the negative influences of others. You can't escape the ethical conflicts with your peers at work. Every job, no matter how isolated, involves working with others. Even the most homogeneous environment will have some level of moral and ethical diversity. Peer pressure can be the most difficult challenge to your personal ethical values. You must learn to stick to your principles and take the knocks as they come. Tip 9. The fact is, attaining self-discipline in one area of your life will translate to other areas of life as well. Achieving self-discipline in one area reprograms your mind to know what it feels like to say no. You simply cannot walk away from them when times get tough. Many things in life are negotiable, but your principles are not. The personal rewards of building a strong ethical character are well worth the journey. The benefits go far beyond your business at work. They will transcend to all areas of your life.
Bilateral trade among African countries is on the increase, which is helping to develop greater bonds of cooperation in the continent. In furtherance to these efforts, Nigeria and Egypt, two of the biggest economies in the continent, are cementing the opening of new trade vistas. This week, our focus is on Nigeria-Egypt Economic Conference in Cairo. And I am Charles Alpha, welcoming you to this week's edition of Africa Weekly. And now to begin with, Nigeria is moving towards being one of the biggest economies in the world, and increased collaborations with economic giants like Egypt is a boost to the journey towards economic greatness. A Minister of State, Industry, Trade and Investment, Mariam Katagum, disclosed this in Cairo, Egypt, at the opening of Nigeria-Egypt Trade Conference. Now, the volume of trade between Nigeria and Egypt is less than $200 million, a situation the conference seeks to change.
Conversations here have continued to evolve. It's actually convergence of business ideas from Africa's two largest economies, Nigeria on one hand and Egypt on the other side. And the catch is basically to showcase products and services through business-to-business interactions for exchange of ideas, and also serves as a platform for participants to explore opportunities, learn about the industrial environment, latest technologies in Egypt, as well as the opportunities that are available in Nigeria.
Welcome to 5 or 6 fintech unicorns in Africa. Every state in Nigeria has some unique competitive advantage that offers any investor opportunity to succeed.
There are a lot of companies that we are going to kickstart, like a live signing, a live